subscribe, support, stay positive.
Hi.
How you doing there, Crystal? How you doing there today?
Good.
How you doing? You know, I was just around the building and I thought I'd come by and say, I love you as a client, because you're my client and I want to treat the best thing for you. You're my client. I'm going to do what I can because clients, you're business.
Family.
Family is business, you're a client.
This sounds familiar. This is, oh, I know what this is. This is that movie. That Adam Sandler movie. Ooh, Hush the Roar of Booze. Oh.
Calm down. Oh, God. Oh, jeez.
So we're about to give it to you.
Give it to you, because what is this, Crystal?
This is...
Uh-oh!
Oh, today we are going to review Sandy Wexler.
Excuse me, I'm Sandy Wexler. Don't we talk somewhere? I'm a talent manager.
Oh, yes, the Netflix special. By the way, for any comedians that want to go on Comedy Central, forget about Comedy Central. Go to Netflix because that's the place to be when you want a comedy special.
Yeah, they're a major competitor now.
No,
all
don't
kinds
put
of things.
Here's the thing, don't put your movies on the silver screen. Put them on Netflix because that's the next best place.
Yeah, they're like the shiny gray screen.
Shiny. Very expensive. Like I've noticed since Netflix has made its debut, they've gotten rid of their deliveries for DVDs. And now they've gone straight to
Netflix. Yeah.
Netflix,
which is what Sandy Wexler did. It was a Netflix original movie.
Yes.
You've seen a lot of Netflix original movies with, actors, A-list actors, and people that you're used to seeing that you would see in a theater, but it's on Netflix instead.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, Adam Sandler hadn't come up with any movies for a while. Well, not in a little while, but in the recent past, his movies have been, as we all know, absolute utter garbage.
It's like
Which is really too bad because we liked his comedies from the 90s, the late 90s, and I really liked his theatrical work of like his dramatic roles of, like I mentioned Tommy earlier, that Reign Over Me was really great, and Spanglish was great, and I liked Click. Not everybody does, but I did. And so this was kind of a funny combination. It was like a good combination of comedy and drama. You see, from the preview, I thought that Adam Sandler was going to do his voice, the Adam Sandler voice. Yeah, that one.
There was actually a video on Facebook where he was fighting with Bob Backlund. I guess Bob Backlund was in the hospital, and he's like, at least I didn't get my job as doing the whoopee boop boop boo. And Sandler just beats the living crap out of Backlund. Just absolutely.
We've been seeing it. We've been hearing it since SNL.
Yeah.
And we heard it a lot, and it's like, okay, when are you going to stop with that voice? And so at first when I saw the preview, I thought, oh God, yet another Adam Sandler character where we have to hear this voice the entire time. But it actually wasn't like that.
No,
it was very subtle. It sounded more like just a natural sort of way of speaking than something that was over the top. And they had so many cameo appearances.
Oh yeah, so many
there's so many I can't even remember them all. There's some that you would expect.
Some that you wouldn't.
Some that you wouldn't. All people that you would like to see, really. But they were playing themselves because Sandy Wexler's character, the character of Sandy
is an
Wexler,
agent.
Is a Hollywood agent.
Bad agent, completely bad agent, but
bad.
Good. He's a small shot, but a no shot. And that's what people explain.
But he loved his clients.
He loves his clients, and he says because he loves his clients, but his clients are his family. That's the most important thing that he puts down. Now, what happens is he comes across this. He's in the park, and I guess he's watching over his other clients' kids.
And you've already seen the clients that he works for,
yes.
Which is like, Nick Swartzen plays a guy who's like trying to be like a daredevil, like he's like the next
Evil Knievel.
Evil Knievel, thank you. And
he fails at it.
He's actually a great stuntman because he takes hits like you wouldn't believe and he survives, which is ridiculous because really, if he took falls like that, he would be a dead man.
Yes.
But so he's going from this small time, and he's hanging out in like a carnival, like a state fair setting, and he sees this woman played by Jennifer Hudson. And she's actually a major character in this movie. She stars right along with him, really, as far as a front runner, and she's singing in this hokey little like, you know, Disneyland type of play, but she has this beautiful angelic voice.
Yes.
And so he just like makes a beeline to her, and it's like, I'm gonna get you where you need to be.
You got a voice there. You have a voice. And the one thing about Sammy Wexler is he feeds a lot of bull. He lies a lot.
He does lie a lot.
He does. He lies like he's like, I was just on the phone with somebody, and
he only lies to make himself look better than he really is, though. Like, he doesn't lie to harm anybody.
Yes.
It's just like if someone says, "Hey, what are you doing these days?" He's like, "Oh, I just got off the phone with some big time somebody," just so he doesn't look like a total loser, I guess.
Yeah.
But he doesn't really. What I liked about the character of Sandy Wexler is that he really is. It reminds me of Joe Dirt.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the way David Spade was in Joe Dirt in a way, in this one way, which is that they really are kind of a tragic character. When you see their life, you're like, oh, that's depressing. That's pretty damn depressing. But they don't seem to be aware of it. They're just always just laughing and carrying on and just doing whatever they got to do, and they're kind of oblivious to how sad the situation is. And that's how he was, how Sandy Wexler was. You felt kind of bad for him, but you couldn't because he was always so happy about, like, he never really seemed to get down about this shitty life that he had.
Well, to say why it's shitty is because Sammy Wexler lives in this back hut of a studio apartment because this apparently
it's a huge like mansion of a house.
Yes.
It's a beautiful big Hollywood Hills home with a big old swimming pool.
But he can't touch
the
any.
guy that owns it is like Middle Eastern, and so he's like abroad doing like business stuff, but he's totally wealthy, and he makes Sandy sleep in like the pool hut. With that's where he gets to stay, and he's never allowed in the swimming pool.
Never allowed.
And he's got all these cameras up and watching him all the time to make sure he doesn't do anything wrong. And it's like totally the guy has no privacy. He gets no respect. He has to wear a smile. And he really is, though, a good sport about everything. I kind of, after that movie was over, I was like, I'd like to be a little bit more like that character. Like, he's kind of got...
I think I'm a little like that. What would you say, Crystal?
Yeah, I would.
Well, everybody has a little bit of Sammy Wexler inside of them, and I think that's what.
That's the side that keeps smiling when you want to just break down and cry your eyes out and roll up in a ball. That's Sandy Wexler.
Like me earlier when I thought I wasn't going to be able to interview Doug Walker.
Yeah, like that.
Crystal could tell you I was almost in tears because I thought.
Why?
She had to rub my back.
God, why have you forsaken me?
I can't get hold of Doug Walker. Why? I had to. Don't worry, Tommy. I'm gonna get him. I'm on the phone with Doug Walker right now, and I'm gonna get hold of him. Now, come on, Sam. You're not bullshitting me, are you? No, Tommy. That's how Sammy Wexler would tell me as
Sandy Wexler.
Sandy Wexler would tell me as a client, Tommy, don't worry, I'm gonna get on the phone with Doug Walker, and I'm gonna get you that interview. And even though he's lying through his teeth to me, I'm just like, okay, Sandy, thank you.
It's like just through his sheer belief that it can happen with not really much evidence that it can happen.
Yeah.
It will happen. And so, yeah, that's the bright side of this, cynical side of life, I guess. But then, so he sees Jennifer Hudson's character singing, and he just goes in to try to get her big, and it was actually his involvement with her at the beginning of that actually ended up getting her to be famous.
Yes, and he pushes her, and actually goes to meet her father, and her father's in prison. He's a prison guard. He thinks that he's actually a prison mate, but it turns out he's just a prison guard. So through this journey, he's building her up. They're actually kind of making a love connection. They're kind of building this abroad thing where...
And that's subtle, too.
Yeah, it's very
nice.
subtle. Sandy kind of sometimes won't show it, but he shows it at one point because he's taking pictures with her. And he goes like this, and he's just standing with...
And they're having a nice fun time at this photo shoot. And it's sweet because then Jennifer Hudson, in return, is like, she like... asked the photographer to give her a copy of the picture that they're together in.
And Sammy says the same thing.
And the developer was like, and it's funny, and Sandy asked for the same picture. And she's like, oh, well, it's a good picture. So you can tell that there's like an affection that's being returned, which is kind of nice. It's kind of different because usually it would be like, oh, he's in love with her, she doesn't even notice him. But instead of it being like a whirlwind romance, it's like a subtle affection.
Yes.
That's kind of slowly brewing.
Big
which
time.
Is nice.
A lot of times you can see that Sammy's really trying to break through, and as this point is, he's building her up, he gets hooked up with another agent, and this agent, I really hated him for this, because he's like, Sammy, you're a bad agent, and I need to take her. You need to let her off. How many times have you done this? You didn't do anything when her father, I had to pay the press off when her father...
He starts bragging about all the things that he did. And I thought, like, I was like, oh, I wish Sandy Wexler would have been like, you would have never met her if it wasn't for me. I brought her to you.
Yeah.
And so then this guy is like digging her. The new agent guy's digging her.
Yeah.
And then so he's like, Sandy, you're a has-been. You're out of your league. You're just gonna bring her down because you don't know what you're doing. And there was a little bit of truth to that.
Yes.
That Sandy kind of like, you could see like he was like, yeah, okay. And so he goes to her, and instead of saying, I can't do this anymore because you're out of my league, he says, oh, well, I can't give my other clients the time and attention that they need. You've just gotten so big, and you just, but you'll be fine, you'll be fine, you'll be good. And so he tried to put a spin on it to where she would think that he wasn't walking away hurt.
Yeah, he was just like, he has
too many clients. But then he goes and he cries in the car for like 3 solid hours. Which is kind of, again, it's like, it reminds me of that feeling of like, this is funny, but it's also like true to life, like this guy's devastated right now.
Poor guy.
So
Sammy tries to bury himself in his work, so he gets a professional wrestler. He tries to get himself a professional wrestler, and he does. He does it. It's called the Night Man. I'm like, what are the most ridiculous? It's like something Vince McMahon would give to John Cena. If he was like first starting out in the company.
Because he makes him go night night. So he goes night man.
One of the scenes, it's like the fan says, "Can you hold me in your hands?" No one asked Bret the Hitman Hart, hey, can you put me in the,
It's because he was like a not quite anybody, like he was still a nobody wrestler.
Yeah.
So he's trying to like kiss the asses of his fans, and then he has this grown ass man come up to him and literally wants a picture of him.
Coddling him in his hand.
And he just does it.
And he legitimately knocks the guy out. He's just like...
That was good. And there are some scenes that are like funny scenes that are a bit ridiculous. Like, I mean, they're funny. They're super, super duper slapstick. And I have to admit that this is the only thing I really have that I don't like about the movie. Everything else is really just fine.
Yeah.
Was the scene with Kevin James.
Yeah.
And they're doing like the puppet thing. Because Kevin James his character is a client of his, and he's a puppeteer dude. And he's actually not bad. And eventually, Sandy Wexler actually gets him his own kids show. Because the clown who did it before
killed himself. And it was kind of goofy because it was like, at the same time the clown offs himself, and then you see these two little puppet legs, and I'm like, you didn't have to put that in there as a joke. Seriously, movie? You went there?
You see the video, the shot is Sandy Wexler's legs dangling, and then all of a sudden the other puppets drop and they dangle like, isn't that right?
No.
Was that how it was?
It wasn't Sammy Wexler killing himself.
I'm sorry, the clown.
Yes, no. Sandler does not kill himself. No, audience.
Anyway. Whoopsie daisy.
No, don't worry.
So anyway, when the clown guy kills himself, the shot is of his legs dangling. And then you see like the puppet legs, like marionette legs, dangling too. as if he hung his puppets with him. That's a little over the top stupid, you know. I mean, it's like a... and then so Sandy Wexler has an incident where he's having a really important interview with these board members, and he has a heart attack. And so he is completely like, well, like he's out.
Oh, demonstrate for a second, like just...
And so Kevin James is sitting here and puts Kevin James. This is Sandy Wexler's character, and Kevin James is making him talk, but it's really theatrical, just like that. It's like, and you're like, okay.
Realistically, if
that's not even close to realism. And what's weird about that scene is that up until that point, everything had been realistic.
Yes.
Nothing was out of you know whatever, and they just kind of took like a little bit of a nosedive into the deep end for that. And that's really the only thing I have to say bad about the movie is that there were a couple of comic relief scenes that were really just too much.
And the interesting thing is, like, at one point in the movie, Sandler is doing his job, and he gets a call from when he's with the Night Man, his client that he has built up and everything, and she's on top. Well, she gets drunk, and she's at a club, and one of his people says, hey, one of your clients are here, and it's her, and he actually gets more of a connection with her because of this incident, and she ends up following him and disguising herself to...
Yeah. Yeah, she was really famous at that point, like on billboards, and had music on the radio and all that stuff.
Paparazzi was trying to get her.
And she was getting so stressed out because she was just small time, like just a regular blue collar person, basically. And now then all of a sudden she got all this fame. She didn't know what to do about it. And so Sandy Wexler's like, well, here, let's just, put you in this, and like puts a ball cap on her head and some sunglasses and like a sort of like a, sweatpants and, whatever, just to make her look not like herself, which again I kind of thought like, duh, like she seemed intelligent enough of a person to come to that conclusion herself that oh, I could just not look like me, like I could just put a wig on or like a hat or like something like that, like what, oh my god. So that's kind of what I thought. He was like, Sandy Wexler gave her the idea if it hadn't been for him, but she really should have figured it out on her own.
And I have to say with this movie, every traditional Adam Sandler movie is like taking a plunger, going, and your Adam's apple pops out. That's what my experience is like with watching an Adam Sandler movie. Is like somebody took a plunger and went.
Well, that one where he plays like his own twin sister or whatever.
Oh my god, I didn't watch it. Honestly.
I didn't watch it either because I heard it was so bad that I thought I'm not even going to waste my time. Again, I watched I'm pretty sure it was a Nostalgic Critic review of the movie, just to be like, well, that's all of the movie I really want to see. I can't remember, Jack and Jill. Yeah, I think that was the name of that movie. That's just one of the really awful ones.
He's not dead.
Yay!
Yay! He's not dead. Oh, sorry. We just had an hour interview with the Nostalgic Critic. Thank you, Doug Walker.
And I was really glad that he did most of the talking. I really was, because that was a lot of time to fill, and I had like one piece of paper that had like, I was like, this is not enough to carry a 45-minute long interview, and so I was glad that he gave like extensive answers to questions, so that it was like good. We hear Doug Walker talk, and then we don't really have to worry too much about having to fill the airspace, because it's hard to do. I think it's really hard to do.
Yeah, most definitely.
And the more I like somebody, and the more I familiarize myself with their work, it feels like it almost gets to the point where instead of having more to say, I have less to say, because I'm like, well, I've seen everything you do. You know what you do. People like you, so do I. What did you have for lunch today? I don't know, like, what do you say?
Oh, jeez. Well, back to the review.
Yeah, that thing. What were you doing?
Well, Sandy Wexler.
Oh, I thought it was Twister.
Oh, there's a cow. Oh, there's another cow. That's just the same cow.
It's another guilty pleasure.
A guilty
Twister.
I should have asked him about that. There's so many questions I did not ask him. But back to the movie. But let's say.
So he goes to save her when she's really drunk, and then they start to bond again and everything. And then it gets to the point where she's like back on her feet, she's good, and she's going to get married. And, you know, that's obviously a huge punch to him. And basically, toward the end of the movie is him kind of realizing that he had been living his life kind of trying to be somebody that he wasn't. Like, that was what the lies,
and he stops lying,
came back into the end, which was kind of nice.
Yeah.
To basically represent the fact that he was trying to be better than he really was, rather than just being real with himself and who he was.
Yeah.
And so then he's like, I'm not going to do it anymore, and just went just to find her, set up this little, like, nice little romantic setting for him to wisp her away right before she got married, saying, like, you know, oh, I gotta tell you something really important, it's about whatever. But then she goes in there and it's him saying this really nice, sweet, romantic thing.
Yeah.
And then the very end of the movie is all of the cameo appearances that you've seen all come back together into this
ballroom.
Ballroom.
Because he's getting married.
Well, no, because it was their 20th wedding anniversary.
Yeah.
And so they had already been married they had already been together for that long, and then they got married because he was salt and peppered. Remember?
Really?
It was like they had fast forward like 10 or 15 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was something like that.
Huh. I guess I didn't understand when I watched it.
I don't know if they got married for the first time after they had been together that long, or if they were. I don't know what it was, but it was nice. It was a nice ending. It was a feel good. Everything ended up working out at the end.
Very entertaining.
It was good.
I definitely, me and Crystal don't hate this film. It does have its flaws, but I have to say that movie review. You know, we tear movies apart. But the thing about it is, when we love a film, I actually watched it multiple times. If I'm a fan of something, I'm gonna watch it over and over again. Like, for instance, I would love to do a review with Crystal whenever we can get back together of Scrubs, because they just took the contract. Folks, go on to Netflix and tell them you want Scrubs back on Netflix. Honestly, I just called them, and if you guys call into Netflix and you have a Netflix account, tell them that Tommy NC 2010 sent you and you want the Scrubs back on Netflix. Because I'd say...
Apparently they let the contract expire.
Yeah,
and
they
so
did.
Now it's not on there anymore. Of course, I watched every episode again before it went away, so...
Yes.
But yeah, so this movie was definitely not fantastic.
No, it wasn't. But it was definitely...
But as far as recent Adam Sandler movies go, I was thinking that I was going to watch it. I watched it purely out of curiosity. And I really thought, like, if I make it 10 minutes through this movie and I haven't turned it off yet, that'll be kind of a win. So, I mean, I hate to say it, like, if you're used to somebody making bad movies and then it's not so bad, you give them extra credit than you would somebody who's usually making good films. It's like squeaky wheel type of thing. It's kind of like an M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh,
you know,
what's a twist?
Like, oh, this was okay, rather than totally stupid. So yeah, watch it. You should watch it. I think it's interesting to watch just for that reason. Just for that reason alone is a good enough reason, just because it's Adam Sandler and it's not crap.
Yeah. So, folks, we're movie review. We review movies.
Because we have nothing
better to do. As always, I'm Tommy NC 2010.
And I'm Crystal. Woo!
And also, you can also check out Crystal's channel. You know, she doesn't.
I have a channel.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't. I don't know why you keep trying to push this channel that I don't I haven't made a video in like 2 years.
I know, she hasn't made a video in 2 years, but she's got some really old content on there that's really classic when she used to vlog back in the day.
Tommy's flattering me. It's really very just regular stuff. I tried it because he kept bugging me to do it, and then I did it like however many friggin' times I did it, which wasn't very much, and yeah, I'm not a vlogger. Yeah,
some people have the vlogging bug and some people don't have the vlogging bug. But I loved her when, I still love her, but I loved her for when she did, I do respect Crystal a lot. She's a hardworking woman. Like, folks, this is the reason why you don't see Crystal a lot, is because Crystal is a mother. You know, she's a single mother, and she works job for job, and literally...
Yeah, I have 4 jobs. I work 85 hours a week. One of those jobs, I'm actually in the field hoeing in the middle of the day. But literally, not figuratively. That's my night job.
and a dancer on the side.
Yeah, man, making that money.
Her name is
Working
Sparkles.
hard.
Sometimes I go down there and whenever I show up, she just like, she makes Jumbo come over there and I'm like, hey, I came here to pay for Crystal. Hey, I'm not gonna pay. Okay, I like girls.
I made it so far in life that I have this really long pinky nail. Or like, so if you ever see me, like, you'll know what I'm doing. It's because I got that stripper money.
No, folks, seriously. Crystal is a really good friend of mine. We love doing movie review. This is the reason why you don't see her a lot, because she's got a hectic schedule. I barely just had to sit her down here.
It's 1 o'clock in the morning right now. So I was like, after the interview, I was like, I gotta go. And he's like, movie review while you're here.
Because I don't know when I'm going to see her next time.
I said no, and then I was like,
okay. Sit you down. Sit. We're doing the review. Then it was just like, it's like I had to grab her by her ear and be like, sit down. We're doing the review. But I would never harm Crystal because I love her so much.
And you guys, so delicate too.
By the way, inner part of my leg, grabbing the inner part of my leg, not my crotch. Okay, there's a different part between my.
What did somebody say something again?
No, it's just people still jump at me by saying, "Oh, Tom, you were grabbing your private while you were with Crystal and you were drunk with her." And I'm like, no, I was grabbing the inner part of my leg, and so just saying that again.
Well, I didn't notice it, so I guess I didn't notice it then. Whatever.
Apparently, an autistic guy can't drink alcohol or can't be normal. But aside from that, thank you so much, folks, for watching this. Crystal has to run, and I just want to say I love you so much, Crystal, and I love you guys and girls. August the 20th. There's going to be a fan meetup. I hope you can be there. It's going to be a Sunday on August. But it's like maybe Crystal might be there. Maybe Hamza might be there. Get to meet some of the Tommy people that make the Tommy channel, the Tommy NC20 channel.
Leo DiCaprio is definitely going to be there.
Ah!
RSVP. Yes, you know that I'm serious, don't you? Yes.
So keeping you on the inside fact, subscribe, support, stay positive. Catch you later, folks.